What's up, my comic comrades? It's Joe time, everyone. Issue 1 of Duke and Cobra Commander have officially dropped, with both being written by Josh Williamson. And since both titles are part of the new Energon universe, which we've been covering here on the channel, since we're such big fans, you knew we had to talk about Issue 1 of Duke and Issue 1 of Cobra Commander. We already knew how the Transformers fit into this universe, but not the G.I. Joe. But guess what? Now we do, or at least we're starting to see how. And let me tell you, both issues are off to a great start and give us some really cool reveals, specifically the Cobra Commander title. So let's jump in and see how Duke and Cobra Commander fit into the brand new Energon universe. Alright, let's first kick this off with Duke Issue 1. The issue starts off with Hawk, the future commander of the G.I. Joe, praising Duke, saying even in boot camp, it was clear you had the right stuff. Top of your class, exceeded all expectations, a leader on the battlefield and off. Countless successful extractions and rescue missions with zero collateral damage. From day one, it's been clear that you are a man of action. Before ultimately telling Duke, who's sitting down in his office, but none of that means jack now. What happened to you, Conrad? Insubordination, carelessness, you're barely in uniform. Frankly, I expected this of your brother, but never you. But regardless, we want you back. Your country needs you back. But Duke says, with all due respect, Colonel Hawk, I saw what I saw, referring to the incident Duke had with Starscream in issue 2 of the Transformers title, where Starscream kills Duke's fellow pilot and friend, with Duke barely escaping with his life. It's clear that Colonel Hawk and the military want to keep this under wraps and convince Duke he didn't see anything of the sort, but they still want Duke in the military as he's the best man they have. But he refuses, saying, I have followed every order to the best of my ability, sir, and right now my country is lying to me. I'm getting answers. I will know what the flying robot is, then I'm taking it out. 6 months later, Duke attends a seminar where people talk about aliens they saw or secret societies and being abducted. But we see the real reason he's there is to meet Dr. Adele Burkhart. Eagle-eyed G.I. Joe fans will remember her from Marvel's G.I. Joe comics. Anyway, Duke shakes her hand, saying, this is not what I was expecting. She then takes Duke to her office, saying, it's easier to hide the truth among the ridiculous. Come step into my office. We basically learned that Burkhart reached out to Duke because Duke thought he saw everything in the service, and then he saw a robot in the sky. And everyone said he was crazy, which made him start questioning everything. And after hearing that story, she believed that Duke had stumbled onto a high-tech arms race, and the company on the edge of that is Mars Industries. For the non-Joe diehards, Mars Industries stands for Military Armaments Research Syndicate and is owned by James McCullen, the man who would later become Destro, the Cobra weapons dealer. In any case, Burkhart then tells Duke that the family who runs Mars Industries is incredibly secretive. It's been impossible to get a look at what goes on inside. Duke says, maybe I'll have better luck. I've extracted people from some of the most dangerous war zones in the world. I can get into some stuffy office, and later on, he does. Once inside, he sees all the military vehicles and weapons they're making, which look very familiar to G.I. Joe fans, as it's basically all the vehicles that Cobra uses, like the Hiss, Cobra Fang, and more. As Duke is looking at the weapons in the factory, he's caught by Mercer of Cobra. Duke is able to get the upper hand on him pretty easily, but Mercer has tons of reinforcements that come to back him up, as they literally drag Duke out of the building while he screams, you built it. I knew it, thinking they're the ones who built Starscream. Mercer then calls Destro, saying, he's seen too much, boss. Let me kill him. But Destro says, calm down. If my family killed everyone who's poked their nose into our business, we would have gone under centuries ago. We are hardly the only people keeping eyes on him. If he were to disappear or die, it would bring too much attention to our operation. It would turn us into the target. There are other ways to deal with our curious friend. We then see Duke walking back to Burkhart's office, but when he arrives, he sees the place has been shot up with several people dead inside. He eventually sees that Burkhart has also been shot and is barely clinging to life, saying, I was right. A man. He said he was a believer. He flew all the way from Australia. He stole everything, all my research, but he missed this. She tells Duke, I was right, a man. Duke says, save it, Doc. We need to get you to the hospital. She grabs his shirt, saying, we're out of time. You can't let it fall into the wrong hands. Find the truth. As the SWAT team arrives, finding Duke with all these dead bodies around him. Of course, they don't let him explain. They start shooting up the place, with Duke having to jump out of a window to survive. We then get a narration from Hawk saying, I thought Duke was just turning into a loose cannon, but now he has a mission. He'll never stop. Nothing will get in his way. As we learn, Hawk's on the phone talking to someone, saying, yes, sir. I should have known better. Of course, I understand. This is my mess. I hold full responsibility. I'll clean it up. Hawk then steps into a helicopter saying Duke has gone rogue, Krieger. Civilian lives have been taken and he's on the run. She replies, Duke was one of the best, Colonel Hawk. Finding him will be impossible. He tells her not if we bring in the best to hunt him down. If we want to track an American hero, we get American heroes. And on the last page of the comic, we see Stalker and Rock and Roll. But also, Krieger is Cover Girl. And that brings issue 1 of Duke to an end. But this issue introduces us to several Joes. I mean, you got Colonel Hawk, Cover Girl, Stalker, and Rock and Roll. On top of us seeing Mercer from Cobra and Destro. Now, obviously, we know Duke is not crazy, and yes, giant transforming robots are real. So it's going to be very interesting to see how he reacts when he realizes that the giant transforming robots are actually aliens, and what he stumbled upon at Mars Industries is actually the beginning of Cobra, and they have nothing to do with the Transformers. Or do they? But before we jump into Cobra Commander issue 1 to find out, let's take a second to thank today's sponsor, Bellroy. Batman has his utility belt and we rock a crossbody sling, which is one of the dope pieces of gear Bellroy has in their arsenal. They're an Australian-based brand and a leader in quality craftsmanship and unique products. Just check out this light sling they sent over. It's so lightweight it feels like you're practically wearing nothing while keeping your essentials right where you need them to be. It's made of durable ripstop, which is a super light fabric. Think Batman's cape, super lightweight but super durable. Yes, we're sticking with the Batman theme here because why not? Don't act like you're shocked. Anyway, it also has an expandable gusset that self-compresses, a magnetic clasp on the strap for easy removal, and a ton of pockets and pouches. They also have their classic backpack. This isn't the lug your books around backpack we had as kids. This is for the urban warriors who need some style to go with function. It holds laptops up to 16 inches, has a water-resistant top pocket for a small phone and keys, and a padded iPad/A5 document pocket. But Bellroy also has stylish and highly functional wallets, bags, key holders, crossbody bags, and so much more. Their gear is even made from 100% recycled materials. And as a bonus, the Variant Nation gets 10% off on anything on Bellroy.com by using the link in the description below. So treat yourself, snatch some swag, and get that sweet discount by using our code below. But now that you know where to get some sweet apparel, let's take a look at Cobra Commander issue 1. Issue 1 of Cobra Commander starts off at a bar in the middle of nowhere, where Cobra Commander with a top hat and trench coat comes walking in saying, I have need of a vehicle. Speak now if you could be of assistance. A man then stands up laughing at him saying, how the hell you get all the way out here without a truck, buddy? And what's with the lisp? As he smacks Cobra Commander on the back walking out of the bar saying, dang, circus is in town. And no one told us, boys. Good luck. It's cold out there. Now this is Cobra Commander, so obviously he doesn't take too kindly to being talked to like that or being touched without his permission. So he follows the man out to his truck while it's snowing saying, your vehicle will do nicely. The man turns around saying, what the heck is that supposed to mean? What do you have, weirdo? That's some kind of toy? Cobra Commander then activates some sort of device that causes the man to scream in pain with blood going everywhere. The people from the bar then come running out only to find the man bloody and dead in the snow with the Cobra symbol made of blood. The comic then takes us back to the past to Cobra La. Cobra La is an ancient civilization with organic technology that once ruled the earth but retreated to hide away in caves in the Himalayas, which is now ruled by Globulus, the originator of the Cobra movement. Anyway, we see before in Cobra La, several of its people have band together and are looking to attack its scientific community as they're mad that they brought a monstrosity, as the comic puts it, into their city. Eventually, Cobra Commander comes out, who's not yet Cobra Commander at this time, but he tells his people that work for him, no one retreats. These intruders may not see us as threats because we're scientists, but many things can be used as a weapon. And science is one of them. Our main goal now is to protect our research. Open the doors, let the fools come here. This spore will deal with them. I created it in these very labs. Kill the first who try to surrender as a warning to those who follow, as he throws one of those spores at the mob trying to rush in, which causes a massive explosion. The woman he handed the other spore to then asks, should I throw this as well? He then looks back saying, you fool, as it blows up in her hand, causing a massive explosion in the whole lab, engulfing Cobra Commander as well. We see doctors working on Cobra Commander repairing and healing him with their organic technology, as well as snake venom because Cobra La. When he eventually recovers enough to wake up, he finds a new helmet and costume waiting for him besides his bed. His iconic costume we all know, with Pythona walking in saying, put it on, hide your shame, you've been summoned, as his face is now disfigured from the explosion. He's then escorted to Globulus. Basically, he tells Cobra Commander, I found you, lost in the outside world. aimless, searching for meaning, and brought you into Cobra Law. Gave you a purpose, and this is how you repay me? Our people worship only the organic, the gifts of the flesh, and the natural order of life. Numerous science officers died while trying to harvest from the specimen, and yet you lived. You managed to not only integrate it, but also find use for its blasphemous technology. Cobra Commander responds, and I should be respected for that, Lord Globulus. Promoted in the ranks beyond just the bioscience labs into a position of leadership. And yet you have kept me under your heel there. Why? Globulus replies, there have been too many leaks about the atrocities happening within the science compound. The citizens are upset that someone dare blemish our ways with anything from the outside, and you are to blame. Cobra Commander says, no, I am a loyal follower. But Globulus doesn't believe him, thinking he instigated the riots and has him attacked. Cobra Commander says, regardless of what happened in the science compound, I am not much of a fighter, my lord. I prefer to let others do the fighting for me, as he uses his technology to defeat those attacking him. Cobra Commander basically tells him, I found a way to strengthen Cobra Law, to give you control of the world, and I will prove it to you. But to do this, you must give me a new title, and I must leave my home here for a special mission in the outside world. My fate and the fate of Cobra Law is in your hands now, my lord. We then see Cobra Commander walk to his lab, finally unveiling what this monstrosity he brought here is that's causing the civil war within Cobra Law. And that monstrosity is none other than Megatron. That's right, Cobra Commander has been experimenting on Megatron and using him to make new tech. He tells the presumably dead Megatron, your sacrifice has shown me that there are other energy signatures similar to yours in this outside world, aka the Autobots and other Decepticons. It does not merely power, it is transformative. Once I unlock its secrets, Globulus will have his army that I will lead. And no force in Cobra Law or in any world will be able to stop us. As he walks out of his lab, we see Megatron turn on because, of course, he's not truly dead. Back in the present, we see Cobra Commander eventually meet up with Zartan, who tells Cobra Commander Globulus sent him there to keep him safe while he finishes his mission. Cobra Commander then says, we have a long journey ahead of us, and by the time we are done, this world will fear the name of Cobra Commander, as he officially says his new title given to him by Globulus for the first time in this continuity. And the kicker is the comic ends with them headed to Dreadnoks. If you were unaware, Dreadnoks is a group of mercenaries, vandals, and thieves who have worked for both Zartan and Cobra Commander over the years, and that's exactly where Cobra Commander and Zartan are headed. And that's Cobra Commander issue 1. How crazy is it that Cobra Commander has Megatron? I want to know how the heck he found Megatron. I'm sure we'll find that out in the future, but now that Megatron is in play and alive, how long before he frees himself, finds Starscream, and beats the ever-loving crap out of him? There are so many cool ways this could go, and I'm very excited to see how this ties into everything else and see how it progresses in this title. All in all, this universe is one of my favorite things happening right now, and you all need to be reading every single title. Void Rivals, Transformers, Duke, and Cobra Commander. But with that said, what do you guys think? Are you digging this as much as I am? Let us know down in the comments. Other than that, we'll see you next time when I talk about all things comics.